Hey, all you ghoulish gourmets. I'm a little bit later today. Doesn't look like we have anybody in here right now, and we may not. Because I try to advertise these for 3 in the afternoon, and it didn't quite work out that I got started at 3 because I'm not blaming it on Steve, but we went to Costco after lunch. We ate lunch out, and then we went to Costco, and so I got a little bit of a late start on fixing my fries. So let's go ahead and we'll add my haunted food cam here. Uh, I had a lot of trouble adjusting it today to be able to show you this plate. Now, I don't know why, but it was not cooperating as usual. As you can see, I have started my fry house because the last thing I wanted to do was get on camera and have this thing just collapse as I was trying to build it. So I've kind of got mine started. As you can see, I've got toothpicks in there holding the French fry layers together. Like I said, I've got it started, and I may not do it all on camera. I'm just going to kind of show you guys basically how to put layer the fries, and you kind of push them down on the toothpicks. I discovered when I got ready to start this that these um, toothpicks are not sharp on both ends. They got a round end and then they've got a pointed end. So it probably will be a little bit easier if you could get toothpicks with pointed ends on both sides. Um, but I was not, these were the only toothpicks I was able to find in the store. Um, so I just had to work with them. So although I probably won't be showing you guys. You won't have to watch me tediously build this entire fry house. You can kind of get the idea, and I'll put maybe a layer or two more on there. And then when you get to the top of your house, of course, you could make a little roof. You could make a chimney if you want. Just like in the picture I had for the thumbnail for this, LG actually got fancy and built, he built him a little chimney. He built a roof. Um, you could do both, basically anything. He's even got a little doorway going in there, which I may not have in mine. Probably not. But if you wanted to get fancy, you could put doors and windows in there. I think he added jalapeno slices as well to the chimney part. So if you have, enough time, you could get really elaborate with these. But I'm just going to do a basic fry house, not anything, extremely fancy. And also, I'm sure Lou Perryman probably did not build that fry house. That was probably pre-built by somebody behind the scenes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I could be wrong. He may have built it. Um, and I don't know if I probably should have asked Jay. I don't know if that's a Texas thing of people building fry houses with their fries when they get bored or whatever. But I thought it was a cute little thing to do a movie munchies on. So, how do you make these fries? Well, I'm going to tell you real quickly. I didn't think that you guys would want to be on here while I was baking fries and seasoning fries and doing all that stuff. So, I basically used a recipe, um, and I could probably put this in the chat, and I'll try to go back and put that in the description for the video. This is Copycat Five Guys Cajun Fries um, recipe, and you can either do it in the um, air fryer if you have an air fryer, or you can cook these things in the oven. So he kind of breaks it down real good for you. And actually, this is the first time I've ever cut potatoes into French fry shapes, and it wasn't that hard. So What all do we need for this? Okay, so we need, they say one large russet potato. Now, I doubled up on this recipe because I didn't know how many fries I was going to need exactly to build my fry house. So, if you want to double up, you can get two large 12-ounce russet potatoes. You're going to cut those into a 1/4 inch fries. And like I said, this website does a really good job of showing you just how to cut them. 1 tablespoon of peanut oil, or if you're doubling up, you can use 2 tablespoons of peanut oil. And I've got, peanut oil is more expensive than I thought. As you can see, I've got some organic peanut oil. This is Spectrum. I got this at Kroger's. Hey, Kathy. I got this at Kroger's on Friday. This was the cheapest I could find, and it was about $8 or $9. So peanut oil don't come cheap, unfortunately. And most of these specialized oils don't come cheap. But if you're doubling up on the recipe, of course, you'll use 2 tablespoons of that. Okay. So we also need half a tablespoon of granulated sugar. Again, if you're doubling up, you're going to be using a whole tablespoon. And this is Splenda sugar blend. It's granulated and all that. And because I'm diabetic and need to restrict my sugar intake, this is what I use. But if you have no medical conditions that cause you to restrict your sugar intake, then by all means you can use granulated sugar. See, Steve's just because that's what it calls for in the seasoning. Okay. Well, Steve was asking why do you use sugar? Um, Now they say smoked paprika or paprika, however you pronounce it. Um, but I didn't have any smoked paprika, so I just used regular Smidgen Spoon Kroger brand ground paprika. You can use whatever kind of paprika that you want. Um, and we used 1 teaspoon if you're making one uh, serving of, or I guess it makes 30 servings. But if you're doubling up, you're going to use 2 teaspoons of paprika. Um, if you're doubling up, you're also going to use a whole teaspoon. You're going to use a whole teaspoon of kosher salt. This is Diamond Crystal brand. But I'm sure there's a lot of different brands that you can get. Uh, you're going to use a whole teaspoon of oregano. Again, this is Smidgen Spoon. This is the store brand from Kroger. You're going to use some crushed red pepper, which a half a teaspoon again, unless you're doubling up, and then you will use um, 1 whole teaspoon. Again, this is Smidgen Spoon there. This is Kroger store brand. Uh, you're going to also use some garlic powder. You're going to use a teaspoon of that if you're doubling up. This is Smart Way garlic powder. You can also get this at Kroger. And we've also got some other seasonings here. So make sure before you stock up on this that you make sure that you have all of your seasonings. Um, see, so you're going to need 1/4 teaspoon, unless you're doubling up, and then you'll need to double that up of black pepper. Steve, I have no idea. The same thing with the thyme there. Uh, you're going to use 1/4 teaspoon. unless you're doubling up, and then by all means double that up. And the onion powder, if you're doubling up the recipe, you're going to need a teaspoon of onion powder in this recipe as well. So that's what you're going to use to make your Cajun seasoning. And it tastes pretty close to the Cajun fries that you get at Five Guys. I've had, I've had the Five Guys Cajun fries several times. Uh, so what you're going to do is you're going to wash and dry the potatoes before you cut them into strips. And didn't have to peel these, but if you don't like peels on your potatoes, then by all means, feel free to take the skins off the potatoes. You can pat them dry with a paper towel and add to a large bowl with peanut oil. You toss to evenly coat. And if you're using an air fryer, at that point in time, you'll place them in an air fryer basket. Okay. If you're air frying them, you're going to air fry them for 15 minutes at 400 degrees until the fries begin to turn golden brown. No need to shake. Okay. Then you're going to mix the remaining ingredients together in a small bowl while the potatoes cook. That's all your seasonings you're going to mix together. Then you're going to transfer the potatoes back to the bowl and toss with a half to 3/4 of the spices. Then you're going to return the basket and air fry for an additional 4 to 6 minutes at 400 degrees. Toss the finished fries and the remaining spices and a bit of parsley if desired. I did not do the parsley, but if you're partial to parsley, you can do that. Serve and enjoy. Um, Now, they do give some notes that they used a 6.5 quart Ninja Foodie for air frying. Different air fryers, especially larger and smaller air fryers, may require a slight modification of cooktop. And each serving of fries, I don't know anything. Steve, get out there. Each serving of fries has 5 WW Smart Points. And I don't know anything about Smart Points, but
You're out of them.
that's not.
Dana's got diabetes, if you weren't aware. Severe diabetes, like class 3 diabetes.
Such fun. Steve better get out here. Okay. Now, if you're oven baking these fries like I did today, you want to cut the potatoes and toss them in peanut oil before adding 3/4 of the seasoning blend. And then you're going to toss until the potatoes are evenly coated before adding to a baking sheet. You're going to bake them at 450 degrees for 25 to 35 minutes, flipping and stirring the fries about halfway through. I'll be honest, I did not flip and stir the fries, and I did cook them for 35 minutes just to make sure they were good and done. Okay. So back to our fries. As you can see, I still have a bowl of fries there. Are you wanting to try one, Steve?
Sure, Dana.
He's probably scared to try them. They're spicy.
They're kind of.
Well, they're cold now, dear.
Wait, did these cause diabetes?
No.
Okay.
They don't. They have a sugar substitute in them, Steve. So what's the verdict on the fries?
Not bad. Obviously, since they're a little chilly, they'd be better a little warm.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to eat them fresh out of the oven or fresh out of the air fryer,
Diabetes.
Wilford Brimley, go in there.
Bring me your hero.
I don't know if he's my hero. Ain't he dead now?
I don't know.
Maybe he ain't. I don't know.
Person with diabetes history.
I don't know about that. But hey, Blissel. So I'm going to show you a little bit. Like I said, I've got this partially assembled. I'm going to make the haunted food cam, the solo layout here, so you can see what I'm actually doing here. keep in mind you're looking at it from, base level. I know this confused the heck out of people whenever I did the gingerbread house.
Dane's got diabetes.
Yes, Steve, everybody's aware. So as you can see, I'm very carefully just sliding the uh, French fries down on the toothpicks that I put along here. Okay.
Crazy.
Why? Why is that crazy?
Because you have diabetes and you use toothpicks.
That doesn't make any sense, Steve. I don't think Steve knows what he's talking about, but whatever. So you can see this is why I didn't really want to make y'all sit and watch the whole thing. And never fear if some of your fries break as you're doing this, because hopefully, especially if you double up on this recipe, I'm getting tired of hearing diabetes. I'm not mentioning that you are. You can, always replace a broken fry. I had a couple of them stick on the pan, which it might be a good idea to spray your pan, even if it's a nonstick pan, with something like Pam or something.
Yes.
I think Steve's just trying to be super annoying today.
Thank you. I'm doing it.
Doing a Dana, what's
Not
up?
being super annoying.
I'm not super. So it's just really your particular preference, and you'll probably have to stick more toothpicks in here as you go along, because you're gonna have. I tried to make all my fries.
Did you warn them about not to eat toothpick?
Hopefully, I don't need to do that, do I? Steve says I might get sued if I don't warn people about removing these toothpicks when you start to eat your fry house. So there's your food safety warning. I always try to warn people about
Uh,
things that you want to put back in the refrigerator, like the gorilla bread that I did. Um, and your fry house may try to collapse on itself as you're doing this, but never fear. You can usually fix it. Yes.
it's fine. Over here.
So, like I said, you can see that I'm just kind of layering these fries. Well, you probably heard Steve say a naughty word in there.
Later.
Steve's been trying. We have cool air seeping in through our window in the living room, and I thought he had it stopped, but now, evidently. So this might be one of those things too that's kind of relaxing as you do this. It's not. I don't think that this is a perfect science or anything like that. You just want to make it look relatively like a house, like a little log house, basically. And you can cut the fries in half, or take off about a half inch of a fry or something if you got to get it into a smaller spot.
Go on.
Sammy's not getting in here right now. Like I said, LG's had a little doorway in his. I guess mine's going to be like a skinamarink house. It's not going to have a door, really, per se, but. You know, I wouldn't want to live in this fry house, but
Might have to.
Steve says I might have to.
Sammy might have to.
How's Sammy gonna live in this little bitty fry house? But the more you build on this thing, the more stable it becomes. I think the hardest part was kind of getting my base on there, which is why I did that before I started. It's sort of a balancing act getting all of these toothpicks and all that. And like I said, the farther up you go, you're probably going to have to start sticking toothpicks in here. So as Steve reminded me, um, you you don't want to get stabbed by the toothpicks. You don't want to swallow a toothpick or anything. So as you're eating layers of your fry house, um, I'm going to exit solo layout, make myself the solo layout. So as you're eating layers of this fry house and dipping them in ketchup or whatever, then you will need to make sure that you remove the toothpicks as you go, so you don't stab yourself with the toothpick on the roof of your mouth, whatever, the gums, that would not feel good at all. And feel free to make this, this thing your own. Whatever you want to add to it. If you want to have a roof, if you want to have a chimney, if you want to add, like it appeared LG did, little jalapeno slices to it, just make it however you want to make it. Um, so Blissful says hi to Ninja Steve. And she also says, Steve, go to Home Depot and get weather strips. He says it works great. So he's he says he will. Now I don't know if he really will, but he says he will. Blissful. He says not today. We've already been out today and it was very, very cold. It was like, well, it's 14 degrees now. I think it was about 12 or so degrees when we went out and had lunch. Thank you, Blissful. You say the fries look delicious. And you say, does Steve realize that you're close to sharp objects? I guess he does somewhere in the back of his mind, Blissful, but he's not thinking too much about it. Steve. Um, so, like I said, I think you guys are getting the gist of what is going on with the construction of this fry house. I do think LG's was a little larger than mine is. Just trying to get some layers built up. I don't think I would want to live in this house because it does have some spaces in it where it's, might not be too good in the winter time. But I'm just kind of giving you guys the idea, and then you can just kind of run with it. And I need another long fry to put here. I'm kind of starting to run out of long fries. Put another. And also, if you're using French fries to assemble this, you might not want to. I know I like crispy fries real well, but crispy fries are probably going to be kind of hard to maneuver and get to to construct this properly. So it might be better if they're on the softer side. So we got kind of a good start to our house. So probably it would be good to start trying to build and I don't know if I'm going to be able to build a pretty roof like LG had. His is kind of elaborate. But however you can make your roof, probably what we would have to do is make us some little beams here. Kind of go from there. So when you get your walls built up like you want them, then it would probably be a good idea to build a few beams here. Hey, Jay. See, this one is going to be kind of hard to. Sounds like somebody's growling in there. I don't know why Steve's making that noise in there. Like I said, just, kind of make this your own. You don't have to make it exactly like the one in the movie or anything like that. I know mine wouldn't pass, any kind of construction inspection wire or anything like that. My back wall is starting to come unhinged back here. Working on it. Because this fry is not quite long enough. Oh, some of these fries are getting out of control here. I can't. There we go. What I'm trying to do is kind of make a sloping roof or a slanted roof. You may hear sanding ground in the background. I'm having a worse time trying to get a roof on this thing than you just have to try to build a little flat roof on it. Like I said, this stuff's not an exact science. Just so it looks somewhat like a house. No. One of my fries fell off there. So we're gonna make this the solo layout again, and I'm gonna try. I don't know if I can do this or not. You can kind of see the front of the house. There's the top of it again. Mine kind of looks like a fry shack instead of. Well, it's bigger than an outhouse. Brown mustard. What, like poop? Oh, that's gross, Steve. But, uh, let's see. Blissful says high winds today. Kathy, you say I have diabetes too, but watch my numbers. Tell Steve to hush. Tell him. Hey, I watch my diabetes. Okay, whatever. Hey, this is not the time to be going on about that. Sorry, excuse us for talking about that. Uh, Jay, you want to see the house? Well, let me see if I can. This isn't the part. This isn't like LG's house, so bear with me there. There is my little fry house, but like I said, um, my fry house is like the skin of my rink fry house because I forgot to make a little door on my fry house. Well, I didn't build a toilet in here, so. But as you can see there, I'm trying to. There's a dark spot on the front of it. I'm trying to get that where it shows up a little bit better. There we go. Push it back into the light. But my roof is kind of like a roof. There's no door, but you feel free to make yourself a doorway there, and basically to do whatever you want with this to make it look your own. Let's see. Hey, Blair. Blair says, Jay, a lot of people would love to see the return of Chester Graham. And Jay says, I'm afraid Chester is retired. And Kathy says that she met Chester Graham in person and he's awesome. Uh, Blair wants to know, how do we bring them back for one last appearance? Blair, you say, Dana, Jay won't reprise the role of Chester Grimm. Can Steve play Chester Grimm instead? Well, the thing about that is, and I think that Jay has mentioned this, the Chester Grimm character may be copyrighted by somebody other than Jay. So I don't know that anybody would be able to play him right now. It's a cozy cabin, Blissful. Well, thank you. Oh, Kathy always gives me praise, as do a lot of you. Kathy says, Jay, I really loved your film Head Rush. Can I get a copy? Thanks for telling me about Dana's cooking shows. Yeah, it does, Jay. Come to think of it, kind of looks like the Evil Dead cabin. So I kind of did a two-in-one thing. Thanks for bringing that up, Jay. The more I look at it, the more it does look like the Evil Dead cabin. It looks more of like a little cabin than a house, but Um, I would love to see what you guys do with your own LG's TCM2 fry house. If you want to, try this out yourself, you could even get frozen French fries, and I just you're not wasting food. If you did, excuse me, if you didn't want to make these Cajun fries, these copycat Five Guys fries, by all means, get you some frozen French fries. That's what I started to do, and then I thought, well, I'm going to try to make these copycat Five Guys. Needs extra ketchup, yeah, exactly. And I was actually going to use ketchup to begin with to kind of cement these little French fries together. And Steve said, no, that's grilled cheese toothpicks. And so I'm bringing myself back into the main view um, for a little bit. Jay says, I'll look into Chester making a cameo appearance. Have to find my white grease paint makeup. Well, thank you, Kathy. You say, looks like a good fried house, Dana. And welcome, Yaz. I don't know if that is the correct way. If it's not, I apologize. Um, but I hope you guys have enjoyed as I've kind of constructed a little LG fry house from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And as Jay says, it kind of looks like the Evil Dead cabin as well. So here's what I'm thinking for the next movie, Munchies. I recently watched Misery again. Sorry for the birds making so much noise back there, but and Annie makes a meatloaf at one point, and Paul asked her, this is great meatloaf. What do you use to make it? And she said, well, I use fresh tomatoes, never canned, and I mix a little spam in the meatloaf meat. So I'm thinking about making Annie Wilkes misery meatloaf, and to incorporate one of those ideas that Jay had, to have cockadoodie cocktails with the meatloaf. So we're going to have some fancy meatloaf with cocktails. So that is my idea for the next movie, Munchies, and hopefully I'll be able to pull that one off. But I want to thank everybody for being in here with me. Once I got started, we had quite a few people in here. And I'm actually still full from lunch, but maybe later I can stick this little fry house in the microwave and heat it up a little bit and then eat some of these fries off of here. Because I'm got potatoes and all that stuff and made these fries. I definitely want to, at least digest part of this fry house. Jay, you say, "Ha, good one, Dana." Blissful, you say, "Great live, Dana. Now I want fries." Yeah, I mean, it's my hope. I don't want to make people run out and spend a bunch of money or anything like that. But it's my hope that by doing these, that people will want to, look at this and say, "Hey, I can do that, or I can do that better." I'm going to try. That is what my big hope is, especially with a lot of these more original ones that I've been doing. I want to get people excited about coming into their kitchen and being able to create something and be able to create something. A lot of us being horror fans to be able to incorporate things from horror films or inspired by horror films or whatever you want to say about that. Um, Now, just keep in mind that tonight, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be having another watch along for Bob Clark's Porky's. It's a comedy offering tonight. So hopefully you guys will be able to join me for that one. Again, I was not able to find a for free version of Porky's anywhere, but maybe some of you will be able to have a copy of it, or if you just want to come in and hang out, that that is fine. Steve was making me laugh by something from Porky's, talking about a tallywhacker. And if you've seen Porky's, you know exactly what he's referring to. So, also, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern will be the start of my new series of streams called Stephen's Kingdom. And it's going to be all about Stephen King adaptations. I'm starting out, I'm going to cover three adaptations of Stephen King's work a night or a Monday, because this is going to be on Mondays. And I'm going to be doing Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining. So be sure to join me for that. Um, the Tuesday, I have no idea if I'll be doing anything or not. Wednesday, hopefully, me and TJ will return with another Tales from the Crypt episode discussion. And we've already, TJ and I kind of discussed it on the stream. We're probably going to go with the Creep Show series that relatively new. Um, and we're going to start covering those. Um, Kathy, you say sounds great. I love Misery. And I will be having a watch along for Misery coming up soon, because that is a great winter time, in my opinion, horror film to watch. Yes, everybody stay warm, as Kathy says. Kathy said, "See you next live. Stay warm." Yeah, I want everybody to stay warm and toasty. Not on fire, but toasty. And let's see, Thursday, I hope to return with Seductive Poison, The Resurgence, covering the second unnecessary sequel show. And then Friday will be a midday with Dana and Jay again. And then two more watch alongs and a movie Munchies for the weekend. See you, Blissful. And on that note, oh, be sure to, I have put an edited version of the Shopman Infused Gorilla Bread up that includes a brand new commercial for movie Munchies. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. And on that note, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for now. I'm going to do a few things before the watch along at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Porky's. And I hope to see all you guys and gals there. And I'm out of here for now. See y'all next time.